welcome to Season of War. Today we have two exciting games related to Sigmar that we're filming today, but the first one we're playing right now today, also going to be very exciting. We have the Idoneth Deepkin facing off against the Stormcast Eternals. Carl, you're piloting a couple dragons over there.
Yep.
First big test, well not first big test, but a big test for Deepkin here. Second time we're filming with them on the channel. The first debut wasn't the best start for them. Very bad matchup with Seraphon, Thunder Lizards, but if you're a premium member, you already know that. If not, consider joining and checking that out. And all the other perks and benefits you get from premium membership, best way to support the channel. But anyways, getting to the mission today. Actually, very excitingly, we're playing a mission from the War Coda. So this is Tyler Emerson's, he put together, with help, a mission pack, kind of a supplementary mission pack, unofficial, with 4 extra missions, because there's a lot of ones that in this edition that are kind of not good.
Yeah.
So this gives a few more options. So excited to play this for the first time. The one we're playing today is a Game of Heroes. There's 4 objectives on the table: normal, store 1, store 2, store more, or hold 1, hold 2, hold more, storing, corner deployments, and you get a bonus point if you have a hero that is 9 wounds or less within one of the objectives, and it's only 1 point
extra.
Total. You can't get multiple. It has to be one of these corner ones. It can't be one of the one in your home deployment. So very interesting mission. Excited to play it, and just for a little variation, actually, it's already feels like a different, something completely different.
Corner deployments isn't the one you see in this General's Handbook. So.
Well, we do a little bit with the zigzag.
Yeah.
But the true corners, you usually have the 3 across.
Yep.
Which is kind of stale.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. Very excited to play this. Definitely check out the War Coda. We'll have it linked in the description. It's on AOS Shorts website, so you can find it over there from Dan. And yeah, super excited to test this out. And then just want to give a big shout out to Printable Scenery, where we did our terrain files for these tables, as well as X-Planet, our local game store, where we did all our models and paints and everything else from. So check those both out. And let's just jump into the armies.
Sure.
Carl, do you want to take us through the Stormcast first?
Sure. I am taking a Hammers of Sigmar army. I have 2 heroes, a Knight Draconis, who is my general with Mirror Shield, so he can't be shot unless you're
very
9.
weird.
And the Lord Relictor, who doesn't have Master Priest, so he's only a 2-up.
Yep.
Not rerolling.
Yep.
To translocate. That does mean that my dragons are battle line, so I have 2 units of 2. And it'll be very interesting to see how the new battle scroll changes the scoring wise.
Potential 2 extra victory points on the table.
Yeah, I don't want to throw them, as willy-nilly as I would previously. Trading with them would, is giving my opponent 1 extra victory point. But with that, I have 15 Judicators. And 2 units of 5 Vindictors. So my Holy Command is Thunderbolt Volley. No surprise to anyone, because that double shooting, even with the protection that Deepkin has, you could potentially blow up 1 unit and then shoot the one that's behind.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely worth noting, with the extra points that we're getting from the supplement, you're not running launch strikes. Now, we've been fans of Judicators for a long time, and they're definitely, I feel like even their stock just is going up continually, with things like Thunder Lizards, the consistency of having that many bodies, the extra wounds, all that. I really wish I was facing 6 launch strikes instead right now.
Which would be 4 extra victory points.
Yeah, well, not even for the points, literally just because it would be so much easier to deal with them.
And output,
my Sharks could cripple them in a turn.
Yeah.
I can't do that to the Judicators. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, getting into the Deepkin list then, I am running Iron Rock again today. Just want to kind of give it, hopefully, a better showing than it had last time. Not even getting to play with my Achillean King. So this time I took 2 just in case one dies. I do have the normal Achillean King, who is my general, has the command trait to get +2 attacks on High Tide for every unit within 3, and then the normal mount trait of -1 hit. And then my other king is actually Volturnos, so named hero. He's got a great ability as well with +1 attack to 3 units on High Tide. And actually with the Achillean King's ability as well, you could potentially do that on a different turn than High Tide, depending on when you want to leverage everything. But pretty thin otherwise in the army. I have 2 units of sharks just in pairs. Giving me a unit leader in them, hitting on 2s is great. And then I have 2 units of defensive Ishleyan Guard and a single unit of 6 Morsar Guards. So again, not a ton of bodies here or anything. You don't have a ton of bodies either.
No.
But you have 9 wounds in each of those big bodies.
Yes.
So
and you have 8. I mean.
Yep, not 10 anymore, which is unfortunate. Yep. So I lost 8 wounds out of this army. So hopefully that gets reversed like Marathi's Ren did back and forth. But anyways, again, I'm Iron Rock here. You are a 1-drop, which you have 5 units, very easy to do. Very common with Stormcast. I could have also been a 1-drop, but I actually think Deepkin can go higher drop without risking too much, and this might not be the best matchup for it, but I did want to test it out. Could have lost the roll anyways. So I am running Hunters of the Heartland on my 2 units of Sharks and my Morsar Guard, and then I have 2 Vanguard battalions, which is an Achillean King and the defensive Eels, and then Volturnos and the other unit of defensive. Again, just for potentially a couple extra, saving me some CP, so we'll see if that comes up. And I was 5 points less than you, so I do have the Triumph. So that'll be hopefully bait at some point, but Carl, that leaves you with choice of how the game starts.
I do have choice, and I'm surprisingly actually going to take first.
Okay, sounds good. So we will jump into Stormcast turn 1.
The Stormcast battle tactic is Ferocious Advance. The Knight Draconis fails heroic leadership, but the Achillean King succeeds. The Lord Relictor chants for translocation on the Judicators. The Judicators use all-out attack and kill the Ishleyan Guard. The Stormcast hold 2 and more objectives and complete their battle tactic with monsters for 6 points.
All right. Stormcast turn 1. The reason I took first, as opposed to giving it to you, I think giving it to you meant that you wouldn't have affected much of the board in terms of your output because of how far we were. But my thinking was I can get onto the points and kind of force you on the back foot. It's going to be difficult for you to take that point, which means potentially you
if we're at stalemate, exactly.
Yeah, I can't hold objectives. More. And then I did end up just running my 3 dragons. They're fast enough that they can affect anywhere on the board, depending on where you go. They can counter strike if you win the turn later on. And I'm not close enough where turn 1 is going to be super duper impactful, I think, on your end of the things as well. 6 points is good, I think, in a 1, 2, 3
very good.
hold mission, as well as putting you on the back foot.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think great pick. Taking first, or giving me first, it allows the one player to just take 1 objective, right? They don't have to take 3.
Yeah.
Where here I would have to take 3 to hold more, so probably looking at 4 points, but let's see if we can do some damage as well and jump into Idoneth Deepkin turn 1.
The Deepkin battle tactic is Ferocious Advance. The Achillean King uses Legacy of Glory on a unit of Alopexes, and the Knight Draconis fails heroic leadership. The Stormdrake Guard use all-out defense. The Alopexes use all-out attack and deal 1 damage to the Stormdrake Guard. The other pair of Alopexes deal 4 damage to the Stormdrake Guard. That phase was underwhelming. The Deepkin hold 2 objectives and complete their battle tactic for 4 points.
All right, so Deepkin turn 1. Obviously not having the Issurin Ritual and you able to shoot, did kill a unit. means I'm very thin here, right? I don't have a ton of screens, so definitely feeling it now. And man, is it a different game from
AOS 2.
AOS 2 with Deepkin, where it's like, this army used to have the speed advantage, and it doesn't anymore. And with being so thin on bodies and units and stuff, with the points, it's like, if I wanted to leverage my shooting at all, everything's in threat range. It's either I sit back and do nothing, or and then if I win priority or lose priority, you just give me the turn and I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's tough now. Like, Deepkin used to have the speed advantage, and they just don't anymore. It's, with so many armies in the game, Maw Crushers, Morathi moving 16 inches. We saw for the freaking Stink Chief on Stegadon going 18 inches. Like, they just realistically don't have the speed advantage anymore.
Not like they used to.
And can't take a hit. So, a little bit scared here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had to affect the board at a certain point. You just can't sit back. Yeah.
All game.
I'm as fast as you. Arguably,
You're
faster.
faster.
Yeah, the dragons are. And I think that's what people miss when they look at the dragon. Yes, they don't do as much damage as fulminators, and yes, their mortal wound shooting is very, very dicey. But the speed that they have means your opponent keeps your opponent so honest.
Yeah.
They have to be all the way in or all the way out, and if they're all the way in, the rest of your army collapses in.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, so I'm here in a position where hopefully, even with priority, it's like I can't really get into you too well with your positioning because the terrain and all that, and
in my little corridor.
Yeah. So
From people.
We'll see. Let's go into priority. That's a 2. It's yours.
Here's the interesting thing now is you do have run charge in this turn, right?
Yep.
Run charge, run shoot.
Run.
Run and stuff.
Yep.
Run and stuff. So you can definitely get those guys in. With 20 inches here, you could potentially get into me there as well. So, I think I'll take it just because the Judicators are in range.
Okay.
So I will take the turn. So it'll be Stormcast turn 2.
Sounds good.
The Stormcast battle tactic is Conquer. The Knight Draconis fails heroic leadership, but the Achillean King succeeds. The Judicators use Thunderbolt Volley and deal 10 damage to the Alapexes. The Stormdrake Guard use Draconic Onslaught to move in the hero phase. The Stormdrake Guard use Wrath to the Draconic and deal 3 mortal wounds to both the Alapexes and the Ishlian Guard. The Lord Relictor fails his chant for translocation and takes 1 mortal wound. Wah wah. The Alapex use Redeploy, moving 2 inches. The Knight Draconis deals 2 mortal wounds to the Alapex. The Stormdrake Guard kill the Alapex and deal 5 mortal wounds to the Ishlian Guard. The Alapexes use Aulic Defense. The Judicators use Aulic Attack and deal 8 damage to the Alapexes. The Stormdrake Guard Stomp, dealing 1 mortal wound to the Ishlian Guard. The Stormdrake Guard finish off the Ishlian Guard. The Stormcast hold 2 and more objectives and complete their battle tactic for 5 points.
All right, Stormcast turn 2. I think that went well for me. Again, because I positioned myself where the dragons can affect you.
It's the thing, I can't. You were safe enough with your 10 extra inches of movement compared to me.
Yeah.
You were safe.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's super dicey, the dragon breath. This is only the second time I'm revisiting the dragons. The first time was the infamous barking dragons. So seeing them, playing with them again, they did 11 mortal wounds on 3 dragons, which is nuts. They could also do nothing, but in the turns that they do quite a bit, I've effective basically 3/4 of the board now, and I didn't even throw all the dragons in. I still have a unit of 2 and my general that can crunch in wherever you affect.
Yeah.
And if you do double turn me, then you could potentially
well,
get...
they're even pretty safe over there.
Yeah. With my parade, I've been parading my dragons through my Vindictors.
Yeah.
And then again, because of the threat of the dragons, it allows the Judicators to be just unlocked, just over and over shooting. And and it's Stormcast is still very, very good.
Well, no doubt there.
Yeah.
And I guess this is like a good example. We saw Thunder Lizards was bad, but it's like everyone is talking about the Deepkin abilities and how strong they are. Their allegiance is super strong. But when you look at their points and what you're actually getting in an army, I have less than half my army left now. Or half my army left.
Yeah.
Like
when we were discussing it before, your Deepkin list that you took to Grotgang is 400 points more.
Yeah.
It's a quarter more. Yeah. And then you didn't have like an overwhelming number of bodies in that.
No, there wasn't ever like an overwhelming presence to the army by any means. And
and movement was your defense, right? So
Deepkin is going to be, they have great abilities and tools. They just don't have, I don't know. I think in the current meta, with the strong armies that are out there, the tools are neat, but when you're not alive to use them, or you have to. And here, I don't have the speed advantage, right? That's the world of difference.
Yeah.
But we're going to do everything we can, hope for a double into 3. And
then I tied it.
Yeah, we'll see. Jumping into Idoneth Deepkin, turn 2.
The Deepkin battle tactic is Bring It Down. The Achillean King and Knight Draconis both fail heroic leadership. The Alopexes rally, but return no models. The Achillean King cast Flaming Weapon. The Alopex deals 3 damage to the Judicators. The Morsar Guard unleash their Biovoltaic Blast and deal 5 mortal wounds to the Stormdrake Guard. The Achillean King uses the Lord of Tides on himself. Volturnus uses First Among Achilleans on the Achillean King. So many attacks. The Knight Draconis uses All-Out Defense. The Achillean King uses the Inspired Triumph and deal 9 damage to the Knight Draconis. Oh, he's still alive? That's not good. The Morsar Guard use All-Out Attack and kill the Stormdrake Guard. The Knight Draconis kills the Alopex. Saw that coming. Volturnos kills the Knight Draconis, who deals 3 mortal wounds to the Achillean King from Blaze of Glory. The Vindictors deal 2 damage to the Achillean King. The Vindictors finish off the Achillean King. Well, this turn has been a roller coaster. The Deepkin hold 2 objectives, complete their battle tactic, and kill a monster, and priority target for 6 points.
All right, well, tried to make the most of what I had left. Unfortunately, I have even less left now. The biggest deal was, man, not killing the Knight Draconis.
Yeah.
Should have killed him. I was at +7 attacks on the king. Left him with 2 wounds.
Unfortunate.
That's just how it goes, right? That's dice. Nothing's perfectly reliable. Mm-hmm. And what that meant is you got to kill the shark. And you dealt exactly 8 damage.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. Would have loved the shark to be helping to just kill stuff.
Yep.
Even piling and tag the Judicators was
kill the Judicator or something. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty disappointing because when he exploded, he did some mortals, and then
with the Vindictors,
the Vindictors just did the mortals as well. So
which is why I like the Vindictors more than Liberators.
Exactly.
It's just the 3 mortals from poking, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then they have the explosion with an extra dice, and
Correct,
they don't have to survive the round, theoretically. So, yeah, really losing those 2 unit models was huge for me, really bad. If I had those, I would still have quite a bit of play, I think, with priority.
Yeah, you peel all the Vindictors and I would be stuck with
even
3 units. Right.
To be honest, the biggest thing, especially if I had killed the thing and my king survived, now that's potentially my own stake for getting greedy with the extra attacks. Didn't need to necessarily get in range of that other Vindictor unit.
Yeah.
But I also clearly needed to maximize my output to kill him, right? The hope was tag those guys with the shark, so that because I could retreat and charge in, I would have high tide on the double.
Yeah.
Be attacking first, get into these guys,
and
blow them up was the goal.
Yep.
Not going to plan. I did obviously eliminate the dragons over here.
And with the battle scroll and the monster kill and bring it down, that was 6 points.
6 points. So we're seeing the impact of the battle scroll. It's keeping me from falling too far behind. I'm still down a point. But it does help, and with things like the Dargans, it'll help even things out a little bit, but it's not game breaking,
and it's not guaranteed either.
Yeah,
you still fail to kill a Gargant, you're still gonna lose.
Exactly. It's not turning losses into wins. It's just
keeping games closer.
Keeping games a little closer. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
For the most part.
Yeah. But with that,
we're into priority. I don't have my king anymore.
6.
5.
I think I'll take it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I will burn this objective then. And I assume it's, just those 2 are options, and we'll go into Stormcast turn 3.
The Stormcast battle tactic is Monstrous Takeover. The Lord Relictor uses Heroic Leadership, and Volturnos uses their Finest Hour. The Lord Relictor fails his chant for translocation and takes 1 mortal wound. Man, what a terrible priest. The Stormdrake Guard used Draconic Onslaught to move in the hero phase. The Stormdrake Guard deal 5 mortal wounds to the Morsar Guard. Volturnos uses All-Out Defense. The Judicators use All-Out Attack and deal 6 damage to Volturnos. Volturnos deals 4 damage to the Vindictors. The Vindictors finish off Volturnos. The Stormcast hold 2 and more objectives and complete their battle tactic for 5 points.
Okay, Stormcast turn 3. I think I dealt a pretty deadly blow. You only have the 4.
Yep.
I didn't make the charge here with the dragons, but I
rolled the snake eyes.
I think I was okay with that because I had forgotten it was high tide. If you fought me first, you could have potentially did damage. At this point, I still take the objective, and I have the option to unleash hell when you come into me. But
no other units to soak it here.
Yeah, so in a very commanding position, this guy should be over there, because 2 up, my friend, but you suck.
Yeah, failing his prayers.
You've done 2 damage to yourself.
Yep. And that's about it. We'll jump into Deepkin turn 3, see if we can kill some dragons.
Yep.
The Deepkin battle tactic is Conquer. The Morsar Guard deal 8 damage to the Stormdrake Guard. The Stormdrake Guard deal 4 damage to the Morsar Guard, then slays another with Dragged into Tempest. You should probably score more if you want to keep up. Just saying.
All right, Deepkin turn 3, high tide is so strong. Failed my battle tactic. I didn't conquer that objective.
That was the only one you could have conceivably done.
So if I got all my hits wounds through and you failed all your saves, I could have maybe killed the dragons.
Remember when I said that I was going to unleash hell? I was okay with it. Didn't have a CP, so here it is.
I also didn't have a CP, no heroes.
Yeah.
So I snake eyes my charge and had a moment of panic until I remembered they don't have the reroll, but they do have plus one charge now. So I still get in on the charge. We both snake-eyed over there.
Yep.
Something about that objective over there is just a little wonky.
Yeah.
Don't get my battle tactic. Hold 1 point. It's 100% game over. Literally, it was already over.
Yeah.
Really, it was over in my turn 2 when I lost my king and shark.
Correct. Yeah. You had some plays to maybe
Try
impact the adjudicators at that point, but again, like we were saying, you were in a position that you needed to be aggressive.
I needed everything to go my way and then to win priority.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it continues that Jordan can't win priorities, and Carl somehow just always
okay.
does.
That's okay. Well, lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a positive. Loved playing this mission.
Yep.
War Coda, great job, Tyler. Everyone involved. Super excited. We're seeing this pop up at some local events, some of these missions, so I'm super excited for it. This was a great one. I actually could have potentially got 1 extra CP turn 1. I think I was too far actually, but could have gotten an extra point on turn 1. Mm-hmm. I had to kill stuff, so we weren't really fighting near the objectives, but that could have been a couple extra points actually. So,
which is why I kind of, because I only have the Relictor as the person who can score extra points, it made me think of maybe putting my hammers near the center, so you had to think about scoring an extra VP or killing me. So we did try to fight in the center, and it meant that the Relictor could have potentially jumped onto your objective, but he's the worst priest in the world.
Yes.
So he's still stuck back there.
Yes, but he got the one that mattered turn 1.
Yeah.
So what to talk about? Let's say Deepkin.
Can't take a punch.
Very strong allegiance abilities. They've always been glass cannons. No longer have the speed advantage. Again, very strong allegiance abilities, and that's I think what you see a lot of the discussions online and reviews and whatnot
of how Deepkin is so strong right now.
So exactly, are so strong, so anti-shooting is a lot from people that don't play Deepkin, and that's not meant in a negative, but you will learn an army by playing it the best. You see the downsides when you play it. It's great to think about. You could pack 10 sharts in a list and have all 40 rend 1d3 shots, but sounds great until you actually play it. And these have been 2 really strong matchups, right? Really strong matchups.
These are top end armies, the bad boys of.
So, and Deepkin realistically has not had a chance in either game. The Seraphon game or this game. Mm-hmm. A slimmer of hope if everything goes my way turn 1 and I get priority or something like that. Yeah. It's been the case in both games, or turn 2 in this case. But I would compare this book as a whole to Sylvaneth, which is amazingly internally balanced, but externally balanced, everything's a little too pricey. You're not really, there's some good abilities in there, great synergies. You can't necessarily get everything you want into one build, which isn't a bad side.
It's actually a very well written book.
Exactly, it's a good
internal book.
Exactly, internally it's well balanced. Maybe in a year or 2, if we see some points drops, then we can see the rise of Deepkin. But there's just so many armies that have the tools to deal with
speed.
This is, unfortunately, with how fast the game is now, this is a mid-range army.
Yep.
This stuff's a little faster, but the thralls and that's still slow. So overall, they don't have the speed advantage going to every matchup. I honestly haven't had the speed advantage, and I played Seraphon, he was faster. Played this, you're faster. Played Ironjawz, they're faster.
Yeah.
We don't have the speed advantage anymore.
Now, it is interesting if you did have an Ishtaran to turn 1 be 12 inches, I wouldn't have killed those eels. But again, would those eels have won you the game? That's kind of what the counterpoint of what people would, I imagine, would say. I don't know if those 3 eels could win you the game. I'm not quite sure.
I don't think so. And also worth noting, looking at this list, I did want to take a full cavalry build here. I've had 2 Italian kings painted up for 2 or 3 years, and never ran them together in a game. I'm like, one day I will. Finally, with this book, it is viable to do that, so I wanted to do it. Realistically, the defensive eels, I don't think are worth it anymore. It's better off taking cheap screens. I could have done the same job by 2 units of Aether Wings, and then I would have had, another unit and a half still, or 20 thralls. which definitely would be better served here. That's not only are thralls good if you get them into combat, but they're a cheap stream.
And they have a lot of wounds, much more wounds than.
Yeah. So for the same points, it could have been 20 thralls and 2 units of Aether Wings, which I think would have been
impactful.
Competitively, the better build. Wanted to go obviously all mounted
This is
stuff
a
here.
cool looking list.
I have always been a huge cavalry buff with every army I collect. I just love cavalry. Blood Knights,
Dawn Riders.
OBR, Dawn Riders. They're just never good enough to make a full army. Deepkin can, but I don't think you still go with the defensive eels at all. But anyways, yeah.
Kind of from
Glimmers. Sorry.
From my standpoint, this match was interesting. I get to see. This is the first time I'm playing Deepkin overall, and I would say that they're a good army, not an excellent top-end army.
They're B+.
Yeah, but if you get the right matchups, of course, in any tournament, right matchups, and you play it over and over, where you understand where the things go, and again, priority is a huge thing. I think you can win with Deepkin. It's just a much harder road than what it was before.
And this isn't to me. I'm obviously down, but I'm looking at it from a purely competitive. Can I take this to a GT and have a good have a chance at winning, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think the answer is no. I would say right now, in my opinion,
long shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think you could consistently go 3-2-4-1 at a GT.
Yep.
I think the more this is really a book that's going to reward. As Deepkin always has been, it's been a player's army.
Yeah.
So it's really a finesse army. The more you play it, the better. You're going to get much better compared to something like Stormcast. No offense to both of us who play Stormcast.
It's so
but
automatic.
It's kind of you just show up and it does what it does. It's very linear.
Yeah. If you have the fundamentals of the game, if you have like good fundamentals of not just throwing your dragons in, you're gonna do great.
Yeah.
Like.
So this
doesn't require too much forethought in running this army. Now, the other side of this match that I was super interested in is that battle scroll gonna ultimately affect the game. And I don't think 2 points, like when you lose, you're gonna lose by more than 2. Yeah. It's those very, very close games that could potentially swing it, which is an exciting prospect. But like the army that I took right now only is giving up 2 points. If you're facing a Seraphon army that has 6 Salamanders, that's 6 extra VP on the table, or Gargants who could potentially have
6
or 8 still, then that's when it would, I think, swing more. But when you're just taking minimum units here and there,
even with the Gargants, it's only when you're tabling them, and if you're tabling them, you've already won.
Yeah.
So, I think it was a very light touch change.
I would rather that than a heavy, huge touch.
100% agree. And
they can tweak it more if they need it, right?
The worst thing in looking at this update is 3 of my losses to Yuri last year with his Gargants would have been wins if that was in play.
Yeah.
So those very close games, it will affect.
Yeah.
But not every match.
Yeah.
It's probably 1 in 10, 1 in 20.
In kind of speaking to Gargants, it gives you an out. They can't just win by scoring 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And
holding
then they basically win at that point.
They have to win on the table.
They have to win all the way.
Yeah.
Which is a nice balancing thing for them.
Yeah.
But in terms of dragons, if your opponent's not taking full dragons, it's not going to affect that much in terms of the score. No. Like I took 4 dragons here. You take a Knight Draconis, he doesn't give up the extra dragon point. So.
And even if you took 1 or 4 dragons in 1 unit, you have to kill the whole unit.
Yeah.
Then you would get 2 points out of it. How often are you going to lose that full dragon unit if you are cagey with it? Not very often, right?
No.
So.
But again, like I was a little bit more conservative with them because I had to think about the VP.
I think played very smart.
But that playing conservative with them is the smarter way to play them because of how fast they are.
What dragons cost 340?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 10 points more than 2 sharks.
Yeah.
At
3 up save.
3 up save, the hero phase mechanic, better shooting, shorter range, but better shooting because it's mortal wounds.
And the combat is largely the same.
Yeah, and 1 more wound. Yeah.
And monstrous actions and counting as 5.
And counting as 5, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Deepkin will be good when they'll be. I think they're B+ army right now.
Yeah.
Good place to be in. but in the competitive scene, they're
The
not
arms
going to be
race.
making waves.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I would rather a book be really well written, and then the points are the issue, and then you can drop the
100%.
points because they're much more. GW is much more readily able to change the points rather than War Scrolls.
Some slight balances, and I think.
And then they'll be on their way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that Stormcast.
Yep.
Still good.
Yeah, they're good, and yeah, honestly, a tough game. Especially after the Seraphon one. This, I actually got some play, got to do some of the stuff I wanted to do. Still saw some downsides. Excited to keep digging into this book, exploring it, and playing it a ton. So if you... but we'll wrap everything up here now for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and join our premium membership if you haven't already to help support the channel. It really means a lot to us, so thank you guys so much.
That's how we do
And
things.
we'll see you... Yeah, sorry. And we'll see you guys soon in another battle report.
Bye.